Hey, what is up guys? The J-Red here to talk to you today about one of my favorite strats in Halo Wars 2, and that is the Kinsano Rush. Now I've been using this extensively, and I'm really finding that it's helping me win a lot of games within the first 10 to 15 minutes, and realistically, Kinsano is really beneficial because of her strong early game. So when you get into the game, you want to make sure that you're leading off with a few strong buildings first. You want to go ahead and generate a supply pad, then a barracks, then a generator, in that specific order. Now the reason why we pick that specific order is because this strat is very supply driven. So we want to drive supplies as early as possible in the game. Getting that supply pad done first before we can start building military is key to that working. Now once I get my first 150 supplies from gathering supplies from around the map, I'm going to go ahead and generate a Marine squad. The reason why you need this Marine squad is because it's important to have 3 Marines to take out those reactors that are lying around the map. The reactors and that map control that they take with them, this is so important for making sure you have visibility on what your enemy is doing, and also gives you early advantage in the power game without having to invest any resources into making sure you get that done. Also, using Marines to take out those reactors will also get you your leader points faster. Leader points are going to be really important for this because first we unlock the turret, which really doesn't do a whole lot for us, but when we get the hell drop, that is really important for getting up and running as fast as possible. So we're a minute in at this point. My generator's almost done being built. I'm going to make sure that I upgrade my generator as soon as possible. Upgrading the generator is essential for this strategy. Upgrading the supply pads, don't even worry about it. You don't need it right now. But by minute 14, it's possible to get your barracks up and running making Hellbringers. Now, most of the time you're going to find that you'll start around minute 20, minute 30 the first couple of times you try this strat, and that's okay because you're just getting in the rhythm of it. But when you really get it down, you can actually get into a minute 14, and that's pretty much what you'll hit consistently every time. There are ways to get down to like 105, but realistically what that ends up doing is you have to be really strategic about making sure you're not sacrificing your building pads in order to make military, and it'll slow you down in the long run. So aim for that minute 14 time, and I think you'll be just fine. So about 2 minutes into the game here, I'm getting some Hellbringers built. I've got a good queue of units built up and ready to go. You want to just keep driving this queue, and what number we're driving towards is 12 units. 12 units seems to be the key in making sure you have just enough of a force that you're good on timing, but also you have plenty of units to make sure you do the maximum amount of damage. Now I'm still using my Marines to go ahead and gather resources. I haven't gotten any reactors yet, but I'm just about to start. Now the reactors are a key part of this, and you might be making more units than you need if you've never tried this strat before to take those reactors. All you need is 3 Marines, but you need to micromanage a little bit. Make sure you're sending your Marines at 1 Sentinel at a time. The reason that you do this is because the Sentinels will do damage, all 3 of them at the same time, usually against one of your Marine squads. So what you want to do is turn that strategy around, focus all 3 of your Marines on one of their Sentinels at a time. The reason the AI does it is because it works better. So make sure that you just follow their lead, do what the game does, and you will come out on top. So as soon as you kill that Sentinel, make sure that you get that reactor under your control. On this particular map, reactors are laid out in a pretty kind of an X shape, so we've got a lot of good pathways that we control when we control those reactors. Now what I'm also going to do here is start getting after my second base. So by about the 3-minute mark, you should be getting into your second base. You should have around 500 resources in the bank once you've got your Hellbringers all queued up, ready to go, working towards that lucky number 12. And what you want to do is start getting reactors, just keep going for that, keep an eye out for enemies, and go ahead and get that second base. Now the second base at that 3-minute or 3-minute and 30-second mark is really, really important for the later game, because now we're starting to get into the point where we've already paid for our initial rush inventory, we've paid for our army that we need. Now we need to make sure that we are getting ready to counter just in case the enemy is able to fend off our initial wave. Now, to talk about countering a little bit, most of the time when enemies see Hellbringers coming in, if they're an experienced player, what they'll probably do is make something that Hellbringers can't hit, which is going to be air units, namely Hornets if they're human, Banshees if they are Covenant. Now, you'll also notice I got Hell Drop right there. Make sure you start dropping in Hell Drop as soon as possible, and the reason why is because the faster you drop that in after you unlock it, the more Hellbringers you can drop in over time. So to talk back about the countering units, so if they're going to make air to counter our Hellbringers, you want to make sure that you're going to be driving vehicle depots, or garages as you call them in Halo Wars 2. When you make these garages, the important thing to make is a good combination of Wolverines and possibly a couple of Kodiaks as well. Kodiaks are great against infantry, so in case they come at you with an infantry rush, which is pretty possible this early in the game, you want to make sure you're prepared for that. Wolverines are great for those air units that they might counter our Hellbringers with, so we want to be prepared for that as well. The nice thing about Kodiaks and Wolverines is you only need tech level 2 to make them. Unlike Scorpions, which need tech level 3, which take a lot more time investment. Now you can optionally upgrade your Hellbringers if you want to. I find that if you practice this enough, you tend to have enough resources to do that Infantry 1 upgrade. It's not necessary for this strat to work, but it definitely does help. So at this point, we're about 5 minutes into the game. We've got the Hellbringers made. We've got the reactors under our control. We did encounter the enemy just a little bit, which is actually good because that tells us what we need to do. And we've got our Hellbringers coming in too. So this map has teleporters, so I'm able to speed up nice and quick. It's like 5 minutes and 15 seconds, and I'm already at their base, which is absolutely crazy. So got your second base made by about that 5 minute 30 second mark. Go ahead and drop a generator, 2 supply pads on that bad boy, and make sure that you are getting that made as soon as possible. Now, every time you see Hell drop ready, drop in a Hellbringer. It's so important. You want to make sure that you're just getting that number higher and higher. Now, when you get to the enemy base, you want to go ahead and attack their military buildings so they can't make units. And if you're lucky, they might have locusts, which are expensive, and they can't maintain them. So what will happen is they will quit and you will win. So this is such a great strategy, guys. You'll see that in just about 6 minutes, I was able to create a military while maintaining all of my bases, expand my map control, and then attack and win a victory right there with just those Hellbringers. Such a great strategy. Kinsano is one of the best leaders in the game for that early game rush. If you use this strat, you will have so much success in Halo Wars 2. And what's great about this, it doesn't just work in 1v1, it works in 2v2, it works in 3v3, and it works against almost every leader. Really, you just have to make some slight adjustments in that late game. Just make sure you're preparing for that counter rush. Alright guys, thank you so much. Hope you come back for some more Halo Wars 2 rush strategies later on. I've been the J-Rud, and thank you for tuning in. We will catch you next time.